Do you want to scribe, or do you want to ask questions? All right.
Let you be useful.
You are always useful. What we wanted to do was ask you, what are the questions that you have right now that we can probably not respond to in this moment, but post on Moodle? So this is sort of the FAQ for people who are about to leave for Morocco. What are the loose ends, the questions that you're walking around with? There may be some that we can respond to right now, but otherwise Linda will keep a list and we'll respond to them on Moodle. So, yeah.
When looking at the readings, I was kind of forgot what all the books were about, and I don't know if you could maybe, you went over them briefly, like a
Sure.
sentence, so I could maybe select them.
Yeah, I can do that. Can you just make a note? We'll come back to that. Yeah, please.
I wasn't here at the last meeting that we had, so is it true that there was like a little bit of a daily schedule that was given out?
And it's on the Moodle site.
It's on the Moodle site. And
we're actually going to go over that. That's on the agenda, the very last item on the agenda.
Okay.
That's to keep you here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit delayed with the topics that we're supposed to be picking. Is there something on Moodle to give us a little more guidance with that?
There is a general form on there to respond, but the idea was that you would meet with me one-on-one and we would kind of talk about it. The large question about this, and we can talk about more when we get to that next item, is that you should be looking at some issue of cultural encounters, cultural difference, cultural communication.
Something that we want to kind of take on while we're there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Can you give some examples maybe to help?
Sure. We have had people, let me use examples from the past.
Okay.
In Nicaragua, because so many men have died in the Civil War, no one gets married anymore. Women and men live together for 20 years. So someone looked at that. Other people have looked at the role of, in Morocco, the role of women in terms of there's a family law, in terms of creating change in the family law. There might be things about Berber communities and the differing roles of urban and rural men, women, people, folks on lesbian, gay, bisexual aspects within Morocco. So we're thinking about something that embodies a difference, an encounter in it. So, yeah. Other?
Well, related to that, so when we have this, experience that we choose to look at, are we then supporting that with something?
Yeah, and actually, let me come back to that when we talk about the individual project ideas. I really want to, but I want to come back to it so we get all the questions up here. Yeah?
Are we still supposed to meet with you one-on-one?
Or email and have an email discussion, that's fine. Yeah, before the, yes. Well, we said before the 10th. What's today, the 7th?
Yeah.
And we'll come back to that. How about questions that don't have to do with the final project? Are there any questions that don't have to do with the
I
final?
guess it does have to do with that question then that she said applies. Rolling meeting with you, not Fulton America necessarily?
Well, the idea is to be prepared
With the topic.
for your topic before you go. So, sounds like, yeah, Linda.
I'll lay it out. As the person who's last on the list, who's never been on a homestead before, who's been to the Middle East once and a way different part of Africa at another point, I would really be interested in some sort of information about cultural expectations and sort of my role as a representative of the institution and that kind of stuff. And I realize as a faculty member I'm in a slightly different place, but these guys have the same thing as students. Are you gonna set us up there?
I'm going to set you up a little bit today.
Oh,
So
yeah.
please write that down so I don't forget it too. Yes. Thank you. Other questions that don't have? Yes.
Yeah, kind of going along with that, I'm just, even though we've done all those like models about like, what their cultures are like, and stereotypes and stuff. Like, I'm just wondering if there's any certain precautions as women for safety we need to be taking, especially getting to Rabat. Like, I feel pretty confident once we're in a group, it's not a problem, but I don't know, something addressing that.
Okay, safety.
Well, and the Lonely Planet website, there's always a section of women traveling.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like how to avoid being involved or something like that, but just if there's something beyond normal common sense that you should know.
Well, and what normal common sense is to one person may not be what normal common sense is to another. Yeah. Okay. I will. Yes. Thank you. Other.
I'll just to add on to that is that I'm going to be taking a phone with me, a phone that can be used over there. It's not an American phone, so I'll get a SIM card. So if people need to have, if you're going out, there's some reason you feel like you need to have a phone, they're more than welcome to use it.
And by the way, I will mention
I'll give that out to people if they want to use it.
I have a Moroccan phone. I'm not going to give it out because in case people need to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
So I'll give you my phone number. I'll post it on the Moodle site, etc. So I will be there starting the 31st.
Okay.
So with that, I've heard that you can go there and buy a SIM card. In Morocco, that's what you're going to do?
That's what I'm doing.
It has to be a SIM card that works on the right. You have to have a phone that works on the right frequency.
Yeah. Your phone already has to have a place for the SIM card. So if you like kind of open up your phone and you see this little, then you can put it in.
But there are 4 different frequencies of phones, and so it has to work on the right frequency. It has to work on the one that works in Morocco. That's what, yeah. So.
Do you in a different country?
No, I have an iPhone. So it's just
Yeah, iPhones will not work.
They won't. Okay.
Unless you pay something like, it's $100 a month.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Anyway, yes.
Very probably unlikely, but the outlets, are they the other style?
Yeah, you can go in there. There are 2 round prongs.
Yeah.
You can go on.
That's an excellent question.
Yes. Outlets. Yes. There's a great website that shows what they are in all the countries, and if you have like 3 different ones in that country, it shows you what the 3 are. You do need a converter, but it's also a different electrical system. So you need to know that your whatever the machine is will work on that. Not only that plug, but that voltage.
The voltage.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be covered in like the packing list, but in terms of like how much do we need to have really good walking shoes versus sitting in lectures, and I also know that I think you're not supposed to have like open-toed shoes, so sort of.
That's going to be cold.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
I didn't realize it was like that. Like, for example, like Spain is not that cold in January, and so I thought Morocco would be even warmer.
My friend just emailed, he lives there, and he's like, it's the rainy season, bring it on.
She said it would probably be about 40s,
Yeah.
maybe 50s.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
50s during the day. When I looked at it, like the average for January was 50s during the days and 40 at night.
Right now, it's 57 degrees in Rabat.
I have that hooked up on my phone too.
And the low is going to be 45.
And remember, it's on the packing list. Those of you who received it. Most of the houses in Morocco do not have heating.
Yeah, my friend told me to bring a warm thing.
And they use a lot of tile.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what? Tile?
Which is even colder.
Yeah, it absorbs the heat, whatever heat there is, doesn't it? Yeah. Johnny.
Building on what Sabina said about open-toe shoes, do we have any resources on nonverbal communication, like major culture shocks? Like
The Culture Shock book has a good section on that.
Yes, it is an excellent book.
Yeah.
I like the book.
It has a nice section on nonverbal communication. Yes.
Is it limited as far as how long you can check it out for?
Yeah, I actually checked it out to bring it here and left it in my office. It's a 2-hour checkout. It's in my office right now. I have to take it back right after this meeting.
But you can sit in the library and just like learn